former Chief Director of the Ministry of Energy, Mr. Lawrence Apaalse, is to be inducted into office as one of the new commissioners of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. A delegation from the ministry, which includes the Chief Director, Mrs. Wilhelmina Asamoah, is attending the 33rd meeting of the states of parties to the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, currently underway in New York, United States of America. This year's meeting is set to witness the handing over of the outgoing commissioners of the Commission on the Limits of the Continental Shelf to the incoming commissioners, which includes Mr. Apaalse. The meeting, among others, will seek to report and assess the activities of the main organs of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. Ghana will use the opportunity at this meeting to further consolidate itself as a key stakeholder of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. The Bui Power Authority, operators of the 404 megawatts Bui generating station, has added 4 megawatts peak floating solar photovoltaic panels to the Bui reservoir. It is a part of the company's hydro-solar hybridization initiative. This brings the total installed solar PV capacity to 55 megawatts peak, including 50 megawatts peak of land-based capacity and a 5 megawatts peak floating solar PV plant. The move is the power generator's contribution to accelerate Ghana's target of reaching the usage of more renewable energy supply and also meeting the Global Sustainable Development Goals target, as well as reducing the company's carbon footprint. The Council for Scientific and Industrial Research is refining and improving a prototype solar dehydrator built by students of Kpedze Senior High School in the Volta region for commercialization. The equipment, which is for preserving vegetables and fruit to decrease post-harvest losses, contains a refrigerator to aid in the reduction of contamination during food processing as well as the preservation of nutrients. It earned the student first place in the 3rd edition of the Energy Commission's SHS Renewable Energy Challenge, in which 119 high schools across the country competed last year. Deputy Minister of Energy, Herbert Krapa, has urged energy industry titans and corporations to capitalize on and invest in Ghana's oil and gas industry for the mutual benefits of companies and Ghana. He said this on Tuesday, June 14, 2023, while speaking on behalf of Sector Minister Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh during a panel discussion on the theme, How Major Producers and Buyers of Energy Are Building Sustainability in Their Energy Strategies, at the ongoing Global Energy Show in Calgary, Canada. He made Ghana's case for how the country has been impacted by the uncertainty in global energy markets caused by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. He said, Ghana is heavily dependent on the importation of petroleum products to meet domestic demand. That the country did not just suffer the astronomical increments in fuel prices as a result of the invasion, but an unprecedented depreciation of our local currency and the related negative impact on other economic indicators such as inflation. The National Petroleum Authority has advised households not to use their cylinders for more than 10 years for their safety. According to the NPA's head of communication, Mohammed Kudus, homeowners should purchase cylinders with manufacturing dates engraved on them because the date would help track the cylinder's lifespan. He urged Ghanaians to purchase from reputable vendors in order to avoid an accident in the house. He also cautioned people who use cylinders in coastal locations to dispose of them if they start to rust. Rusted cylinders, he said, could develop holes or make the substance lighter, which could result in an explosion when it is exposed to heat. The offshore wind industry in the United Kingdom has applauded Labour's vow to eliminate hurdles in order to reach 60 gigawatts by 2030 and sustain 120,000 jobs. Renewable UK welcomed pledges made at the Global Offshore Wind 2023 conference and exhibition in London by Labour MP and Shadow Secretary of State for Climate Change and Net Zero, Ed Miliband. During his keynote address to industry leaders, Miliband said that governments need a North Star to guide their decisions and that of investors. He said it is the UK's goal to decarbonize their electricity system by 2030, which means more than quadrupling offshore wind to 55 gigawatts offshore fixed and another 5 gigawatts floating by 2030. Renewable UK CEO Dan McGrail welcomed Labour's commitment to set ambitious targets for offshore wind and to remove long-standing barriers. The management and board members of the National Power Utility of Namibia, Nampower, have agreed to postpone plans to disconnect defaulting customers until the end of August 2023. The decision comes after a meeting last Thursday between Nampower and Public Enterprises Minister Ipumbu Shimi, during which the government stated its interventional actions aimed at supporting the company in collecting money due it by consumers. Nampower acknowledged meeting Shimi in a statement, saying the government project to implement necessary measures has been launched and would run until the end of August 2023. Visit energyghana.com or energyghanamagazine.com for more on these stories. Energy Brief is proudly brought to you by Airport View Hotel.
Energy Ghana TV. Local in focus, global in perspective.